This podcast is part of the Pull Up a Chair podcast network. Let's build community through connection, conversation, and collaboration.
Off the Dice is a time-to-tabletop production.
Building community through the language of gaming. Off the Dice is back.
The questions are now ready, and our guests are restrained.
Pay no attention to the mumbling in the background.
It'll be fine.
So pull up a chair.
Yeah. Let's talk off the dice.
Well, welcome to Off the Dice.
Welcome
We're just
to
chilling.
Off the Dice.
Yeah.
We are chilling. That's pretty much all we do.
That's all we're able to
anymore.
do.
Well,
yeah.
we could do more, but I choose not because I'm lazy.
It's nice to not do anything, actually.
Mm-hmm. That's all
it's
I do.
pretty relaxing. All right.
So we are going to hop right into this and get to know,
Who are you?
we get to know who we are.
We always
while
say,
somebody sits there and watches us.
wait.
Get to know each other.
I'm Rysa.
Hmm.
I forgot.
I'm Scooter, and we're back.
I forgot who we were.
Your ear holes are not safe with us
Ooh.
in the universe.
Watch them ear holes.
I do. I have them covered. I put a mask on them too.
So, bring
you
your
don't
towel.
never know.
You ain't never know about my ear holes.
It could.
I
am wiggling my finger. The people are just hearing it in audio.
Yeah.
Wiggling my finger very aggressively.
You can't hear a wiggle. Okay. Who are you, guest?
Well, my name's Silas.
Great.
Pleasure being here.
Hi. Hello.
Well, you don't know that. No, you can't say that yet. No,
you don't know if you
say
enjoy that. Yeah.
That's very high expectations for us.
Yeah.
So let's get right into this. We have a rule sheet.
Oh, so official.
Yeah.
Here's what we do. We are here off the dice, and we are going to probably not get to know you, but at least pretend we do.
Yeah.
Through maybe a little bit of a game. Or
Sure.
is it a game? Or is it real life?
Yeah, it might just
We
be
don't know.
life. It's one of those awkward things.
The top could be still spinning, and we have no idea.
I like that movie, man.
So this is how we play. We play off the dice by creating a character. But how are we going to create that character, Rysa?
The character's you.
Ah.
But you've played RPGs. You've played Dungeons and Dragons before.
Yeah, I'm currently in 2 campaigns actually.
Oh,
Slacker.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
It's a minimum of 5 during
Yeah.
shelter in place. Don't you know this?
I'm really trying to catch up, but
Seriously, I haven't played in a while, so.
I can't talk about when I last played. It's been too long. So basically, in this game, maybe we don't know yet. You're gonna be a character, but you have to create your character before you go through. But it's not a character that you want to be. It's just you. So you're creating you, but in numbers. It's very deep, very real. Ooh, spicy.
Yeah,
So,
it's very important.
Yeah.
It's a great life skill to learn how to build your own character through arbitrary numbers.
Yeah.
is there any way that I can roll to change the past of wearing my retainer and maybe?
Unfortunately, no.
Dang.
That's a boon.
Yeah.
We were not going to get there till level never.
Oh, jeez.
Level never is my favorite level. Also, before we actually get into this, there is a point system. Will you know what it means? No. So we'll get started. Scale 1 through 20. How would you rate your charisma?
Probably 1 through 20.
Like you make a D&D
just like you rolled a D20.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, I could roll a D20. I'd probably say somewhere in the middle. I'd like to think that I'd like to think I'm more charismatic than I. No, I take that back. I definitely think I am less charismatic than I think people think I am. But I'm going to go with a solid 11.
11.
A solid 11.
Very
Yeah.
like solid. Okay, why?
I don't know really. It's
No, I don't know.
I try to be personable to everybody. Whether or not that actually happens, I don't know.
But then you also like to hide. You like.
I'm very comfortable being by myself and reading a book for 12 hours. I've done that.
Sick.
But I definitely like having social interactions with people. And I've been told I'm okay at it. But whether that holds to be true, I guess we'll find out as you ask me more questions.
So,
Well, we will get there, but
Yeah.
11's solid. I mean,
yeah,
it's.
well,
I
that's a good
mean,
thing. Don't
there's
get
no real
modifier.
average when you roll a d20 because
Yeah.
it's a new number every time.
Right.
But I think 11 is. I don't know you. Well, I feel like I've known you forever now.
Well,
Yeah,
It's been a
obviously.
whole.
I've known you
10 minutes.
forever. We went to
For-
lunch last Thursday.
Yeah,
So,
we'll just
virtually.
do a history check,
Yeah.
and then we will be fine.
Yeah,
Um,
Obviously.
No, but seriously, I feel like an 11. So far, there might be some modifiers, but we'll see how
Some
this goes.
modest
Point
modifiers,
system.
maybe.
Modest modifiers.
Modest modifiers.
Wasn't
like
that one of
it.
those shows on Rocky and Bullwinkle?
I don't know.
Little
That I
shorts?
don't know.
Oh,
Ooh, got him.
That I really I don't. And I should know more about Rocky and Bullwinkle.
oh,
I
man.
feel like out of all the people I know, you would know a lot about Rocky and Bullwinkle. For some
must have
reason, I
been-
don't know why.
Must have been something traumatizing because I watched a lot of it. I just
Yeah.
don't remember anything.
I mean, it had the
Traumatized.
fractured fairy tales. They had Peabody.
There's a lot of stuff.
There was a lot of
Maybe
stuff.
that's
in
why
it, but-
We
I was
miss it.
overwhelmed.
We miss it. Oh my
I was
god.
in a fetal position, sucking my thumb in the corner. So now the next attribute that we need to figure out, Silas here, is on a scale of 1 to 20, how would you rate your brain?
Oh boy. Wow. 2020 Silas probably lower than 2011 Silas, but
So you do like a census like every 9 years
yeah,
Yeah.
something like
in your
that.
brain? How many cells do I have left?
Like 4 maybe. No, I would probably say brain wise, I tend to overthink things a bit, so I'm gonna probably go with a bit higher than 11.
Cool.
If charisma is my
11.01?
baseline, yeah, 11.01. No, if 11's my baseline, I would probably say we'll go with a 16 for brain.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I will come to you
You're-
next time.
I was gonna
need
say you're
to-
becoming the solid wizard here.
Oh man.
I'll come to you next time that I need to figure out, a calculus curve.
I've done that.
Yeah.
and we'll go from there.
It's been a long time since I thought about any integrals or derivatives
Yes,
or
but
All
the-
math
plus C.
words.
Yes, but those
Or
are all
anything of
good
that nature.
things. The function of x and
Uh,
all those things.
Why?
H.
But why would you ultimately say 16?
Because I think there's always room to improve. I think I could always learn more. I was homeschooled. I definitely think you can continuously learn from everything, and so I'm not giving myself anywhere near a perfect score. But
Yeah.
if charisma is my baseline 11, and that's just middle of the road, I think I can relate to people. I think I'm a little smart, but I don't
I'm
know.
a little
I'm a little-
smart.
I'm a little smart, but I don't think I'm the smartest of the bunch.
But I think my personal opinion is if you're always learning,
Mhm.
I think that's when you usually have a higher average of a score.
Yeah.
Normally, to me, that's my challenge in my whole life. It was like that's why I'm always trying something new, even though I'm sticking to the things that I know well.
Yeah.
I still stick to those
But you have
and
to
enjoy them.
branch.
But I go, what's that?
Yeah.
Electrical engineering. No, I
Oh,
just
shit.
no.
God
we need
damn
to-
it.
No, you got to be inquisitive and curious. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
But that's just me, not judging others that don't. But come on.
The day that you think that you know everything is the day you stop learning.
Oh,
Why
for
would
sure.
you want to stop learning?
Yeah, never.
Okay.
All right, so we have an 11 for charisma,
and 16,
and a 16 for brain. What's the next one?
Saucy. All right, 1 through 20. 2020 Silas. Dexterity. What we got?
Oh, geez. I'm gonna go down with this one. I'm gonna probably say I'm an 8 with Dex. I'm pretty clumsy. I think it has something to do with these long limbs. I never quite figured out where the ends of them were.
Never figured out the limb thing.
No, I never figured out the limbs.
What are these for?
Yeah.
Digits? Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's definitely moments where I have like amazing feats of great balance or, talent or whatever, but like for the most part, I'm more prone to falling over and tripping over my own feet. So solid 8.
Yeah. So you can carry a great conversation about something really like smart, but you will definitely
While
fall
laying
over.
down.
Yeah, you'll fall over while
I'll
you
bump into the door.
Yeah.
All prone.
The number of times I've run into a door frame after leaving a very important meeting is...
The fact that it's more than one, love it.
I don't find myself to be clumsy, but I know exactly what you're talking about. To me, it's not, I don't know if it's clumsiness or just all of a sudden I'm very charismatic and we're talking and everything's good. And as soon as the conversation's over, everything goes away.
Yeah.
And my actual social awkwardness,
Yeah.
spews out of my pores. And I
into
turn the handle.
door frame.
You turn the handle wrong. You bump your head on something.
Yeah.
You poke yourself in the eye with a pen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the butter knife just goes straight into the jugular.
Who
knows what's happening?
Spew of corporate buzzwords and then just do a 180 straight into the door, and you look real good doing that.
Yeah.
That's how
They're
you
like,
close
you're
these deals.
fired.
But they always go, "Don't worry, it happens all the time."
Yeah,
and they're going, "The hell it does."
Yeah.
What the heck? Yeah.
Someone full of shit. Okay. So we got 11, 16, and 8. So that brings us to you create your character. That's
my
you.
God.
In a pinch, that's Silas. Cool.
Oh,
Hot
that's amazing.
shit. Woohoo. Let's say 9 points. Sure.
9 points.
9. Why not? Reason why? Who cares?
Because Rysa said so.
Yeah. I'm in charge of the point system, but will anyone know what it means? Probably not.
Does Rysa? We don't know.
Does Rysa? We don't know. Wait a minute.
The end of the season, you're going to find out that there was this entire elaborate plot to just categorize everybody with numbers, and you find out you've had a barcode imprinted on your forehead at the end of this in your sleep.
I was asleep
You
the whole
signed
time.
the NDA before we started this podcast.
Damn it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to give away all your secrets.
We're in trouble.
Okay. Before we move on, I would like to just say one of my favorite things of doing this is, what are you drinking?
Oh yeah. Before we go forward.
Yeah. Okay.
What are we drinking?
Silas, what are you drinking?
Well, I'm drinking out of a beautiful cup here. This is something I picked up at the
very cup-like
Dickens Fair in San Francisco a while back.
I
But
love Dickens Fair.
I'm currently drinking a Viva Doñas. It's from Oak Park Brewing in Sac.
Yes.
It's a double IPA.
Love it.
I try to drink local if I can. I mean, I definitely like branching out if there's really fun beers around that are not from around here. I will try those definitely, but I like supporting the local breweries. I recently, I don't know where it went. I have a Sacramento has a brewery passport.
Oh, the brewery passport. Yeah, I don't have that.
I have it, but I haven't been able to put many stamps in it because
obvious reasons.
Because we can't. But
yeah.
I'm really excited to be able to do that again. But that's what I'm drinking today.
Spice?
I have not had that one, but I have had stuff from Oak Park Brewery, and
They're not bad. I like them.
really, they have some good stuff there and some really good food.
Yeah.
So,
I
for
need to
your
go try the
shout
food.
out, shout out to them.
All
Good
right.
people too.
I love
Really good guys down there.
I love a establishment with good people. Scooter, what you got?
Oh, me, my wife and I today took our little trek over to Track 7, another local brewery here. Been around since
Love it.
2011, 9 years now.
Really? Jesus.
And and picked up one of my staples that I always, it's a double IPA, West Coast IPA. I'm an IPA guy. It's the Left Eye, Right Eye. Yep, that is my
Left Eye,
favorite.
Right Eye is such a classic, though.
Now, that's my favorite for a double IPA from them for sure. I do branch out into other places here. Pretty much 99% of the time, I'll be drinking something local or from a brewery that might be California or even West Coast or something. But I try and stick with those. But yeah, we went and actually sat down over there, so it was really nice. And had a couple of beers, well, one each.
Do you know if they're filling growlers yet? Because I've got a growler that's been sitting empty,
think so.
ready. I can pressurize it.
They are filling growlers, people. So
Fill the growlers. Yes.
swing by your local breweries for sure and support local. That's
them,
no matter what era we're in and whatever's going on in the universe and our country and the world.
Please,
just support your local guys. I mean, they're your neighbors that are just trying to make a living like the rest of us.
Yes, I love it.
And what's Rysa pounding there?
I don't know why I'm not drinking straight out of the bottle, but I'm drinking in my Woody face cup. I'm drinking Barefoot Bubbly Pride 2020 edition.
Nice.
Yeah, I should just be drinking out of the bottle, but I'm drinking out of a Woody face cup. So you're welcome.
So with all that's going on in the world right now, don't forget it's also Pride Month, guys.
Yes,
so
it is Pride Month, and
sure
I'm doing as much rainbow happiness, fun. Love
so there's always. a lot of places that need a lot of people that need to come a long ways. So
I had my missed opportunity to wear my rainbow zebra onesie.
Yeah, fucked it. No.
That's
Negative 3 points for
fucking
it.
There's so many opportunities to wear that, though. I don't know.
Really, it's one of my favorite things to go to the gym in because it's almost like a romp him kind of situation. Where it's got a tank top but shorts,
but no one works out near you, and that's probably would be my favorite part. Okay, so now through that, we're gonna go straight into round number 1.
Round one. You get to play a game now. You have a character. Now we're on to round 1.
Yeah, psych. It's actually a game. Surprise.
Time to play. You will be asked questions, and you have to convince us that they're true. They're opinion-based questions.
Yeah.
Or are they?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, they are opinion-based questions.
Yeah.
Here comes the question. Question 1. What is your favorite kind of soap?
Well,
that's
we ask hard-hitting questions. Answer them, sir.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's a long.
Yeah.
Well, my daily driver soap is gonna have to be just your average Dr. Bronner's. I've got a big old bottle of Dr. Bronner's in the bathroom.
Dr. Bronner's knows what's up. He's a doctor.
Yeah, I like that peppermint tingle. It's it's nice. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're saying.
I love peppermint tingle.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And you said. What do you call it? Dr. Bronner's, you were saying it's your typical.
My daily driver, it's what I'm going to take to the office on a regular basis.
Everybody uses Dr. Bronner's.
Yeah, it's like whatever.
No, they don't.
No.
Like most people use like Ivory or
Irish Spring.
Dial, Irish Spring. But I've never actually heard of that, and that one I use.
Now he also wants the peppermint tingle, so
I already have it. Well, I don't know if I have the peppermint, but mine's I use a tea tree oil and charcoal.
Oh yeah,
and coconut.
Tea tree oil will definitely do that.
Those kind of things. So I understand the tingle, the freshness that you
can you're just not familiar with the Dr. Bronner's specifically?
Yeah, I'm just not. I get mine from like it's like a company called Gold BJJ.
And
or
everybody,
something like
this
that.
is
So-
now a podcast about soap. So
I could go
stay
on about
tuned
soap,
for
but-
the peppermint tingle.
And I know I really feel like Silas could go on about soap.
Oh
also.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I do have to add, because that's my daily driver. That's the one that I go for the shower. It's amazing. It works. It does the job.
Opposed to the not shower? Are you talking
Well,
about hand soap? What are we
The
talking about?
hand soap that we've had recently has been coming from Target, and we have these
Oh.
glass bottle, they're the little pump things. So we just get them as refills. And the
what's it
last
smell
time, I think it's like a basil something. I don't remember the flavor.
Well, hold on, basil soap. That's
Yeah.
that's
But
a
the-
normal. I kind of like that.
Well,
It'll change your world.
you're gonna really like the sound it makes when you turn it over to refill the other bottle, because it makes this amazing,
Oh,
and it's
that's
Hands down.
like
That sounds like
so like
dark.
it's a
It's beautiful.
like, it isn't so like I feel like that would be like, ooh, it's time to change the soap. Ooh, it's time to change the soap.
yeah.
you're just getting rid of the soap because you want to
Yeah,
change it.
it's just like, get this
Yeah.
shit out of here. I don't want it anymore.
Oh my god,
I love that. Okay,
that's amazing. I'm
I love-
convinced.
yeah,
I mean,
that's a good soap story, bro. Nice
I'm okay
soap.
with this.
So clean.
So fresh and so clean.
Yeah,
Clean.
good clean family fun.
Yeah. All right. So the second question, round one. What vegetable do you relate with the most and why?
A vegetable. I would probably go with. I mean, I've definitely been asked this in an interview before. Like
Oh,
legitimately, I've been asked that question almost verbatim
well, it's
in an
now
interview.
you are actually in an interview. Surprise.
But he was
Um,
unconscious because he
yeah.
ran into the door. and
Yeah,
had a concussion.
obviously. Yeah. That goddamn door frame again.
I think I said something like rutabaga at the time, mostly because it sounded funny. But I would probably honestly go with like a carrot, just because they're really versatile.
Versatile and orange. Here I am.
there's more colors than just
That's
orange
true.
carrots. I got
That's
some purple
true.
and white carrots in the fridge
Yes,
along with my orange
I do
carrots.
too. I have some right now.
So you wild card carrots over here.
I'm
Hey.
wilding. Yeah,
Love
that's
it. All right. So carrot because you're versatile.
it's versatile, but it's also like just a really solid vegetable. Like you can eat it.
It is.
As
It's
is.
crunchy. Pretty
It's crunchy.
solid.
It's really solid, but also you could use it in a lot of different applications.
Applications, you mean
can cook it,
dishes?
you could not cook it. You could shred it. You could put
That's
little
true.
wavy
I mean,
things
you
in the
could-
chips.
It can go in cake.
Yes. Well, I think that goes into, it's debatable for some.
Ooh, you don't like carrot cake?
I love carrot cake.
Okay, I was about to say, hold up.
But there's some people in my household that
They'll fight
do
about
not-
it. Do they like
no,
zucchini
carrot
bread?
cake's not
There-
a thing.
There's zucchini or die cake eaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, but no, I feel you on carrots. So you have me convinced. At first, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, carrot, that's cool. But
Yeah,
now
it's like carrots
now
are normal. Yeah, carrots are extremely versatile in many ways.
I'm really into carrots, honestly. I don't think I eat enough of them, but I really appreciate them.
After this, you better down like a pound of carrots and
We
be
eat
like,
a lot of carrots in this house.
Carrot juice.
dude, your dog
You
eats
can
a lot of
dip
carrots.
'em.
And that's my favorite part.
My dog freaks out over carrots.
yeah.
He loves carrots. more
Anytime
than
I
anything in the world.
anytime I have carrots at my house and I go to your house, I'm like, shit, gotta bring carrots for that little cute dog.
Seriously. We have to. Yeah, he loves those things. But yeah, carrots, man,
That's a good
they're
answer.
they're sweet enough to where you could actually, could almost caramelize them.
Yeah.
You
Caramelized
could,
carrots are sick as shit. Can we just,
and
they're
right,
so
and then
good.
also you can dip them in like a really harsh, like red pepper garlic hummus, and it's delicious.
That
So
sounds
it's like
really good.
that is okay.
Or like
Yeah,
this is not a-
that's pretty
pickled
good.
carrots. I love me some tacos, street tacos with pickled jalapeno
carrots?
and pickled carrots.
Ooh, that does sound fire. Ooh.
I've never
Okay.
had that.
Oh man.
Now
Ooh.
I have to.
Yeah,
Come
Scooter,
in a
now we
little
gotta go get some
plastic baggie,
tacos.
You're like, what is
Oh
going
my
on?
god.
This
Okay,
is-
we need to move
Yeah,
on. We could talk about carrots
yeah.
forever. Okay.
Yikes.
Okay. Next question, round 1. Silas, how many chickens would it take to overtake an average-sized elephant?
Ooh. Well, okay. Are these chickens or are they roosters? Specifically chickens?
Chickens. Yeah.
Definitively chickens. Okay.
Chickens.
Well, I would probably say it's going to take at least 12 chickens to overcome the average human, and elephants are significantly larger than that. So I'm going to have to say somewhere around the order of 250. I'm going to say a nice 300 chickens.
300 chickens.
300.
That's
And
a lot
you're
of
going
chickens.
off of your basic
Human size.
chicken to human ratio.
Right.
Of overtaking. Okay.
Yeah, because as much as
sounds
a
like
human,
there's been an experiment.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like how many chickens
a
before
personal
I die?
experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like a human can definitely use tools and is fast and can really use the chickens against the other chickens.
Yeah.
But elephants can't jump in the first place, so they're not gonna be able to jump out of the way of these chickens for sure.
But they can definitely crush the shit out of them.
Right, but if there's 300 chickens,
that's a lot of chickens.
That's a lot of chickens.
That is a lot of chickens. That's a lot of chickens just to begin with. That's a lot of eggs.
Right, and I think part of the key in overwhelming an elephant with chickens is just sheer confusion. If you have that many chickens, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of sound, there's feathers, probably smells weird. You know, if I was an elephant and I saw 300 chickens coming at me, 300 elephants coming at me,
I would shit my pants as a chicken.
Yeah, it's a final level of a Jumanji.
Yeah. No.
For really, and plus, I'm sure both of you have played Zelda. If you touch a chicken,
no, that's what I was gonna say. Like, are the
Yeah.
We won't even delve into Zelda chickens because that's a fucking no.
Yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms.
That's
a whole different chicken.
That's a whole other can of chickens. All right.
Oh,
hey, oh, don't. Ooh. We ain't going there. Okay. With 300 chickens to overtake an elephant, that means you completed round 1. So you beat round 1. Level 1. Cool. Sick.
Round 1.
You did it.
You get to level up.
Yeah, you leveled up.
Yes. You know what that means? What does that mean, Rysa?
Not a lot.
Okay. So now we're into round 2. We get a little bit
personal.
Maybe. Depending on the answers that you gave us. So, now that we're in round 2, we get to ask a couple. You filled out kind of a small survey, not too intricate, but we might want to pick some things out of there. So, all right, is it my turn?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Is it you?
Wait, my turn.
No, actually, it's me.
I think it's your turn.
I'm a fucking liar. All right. So, yeah, like you're just like, yeah, you're a liar.
That happens. I mean, it does happen.
So looking at all these things, some things that you like, I mean, they all are pretty straightforward. But what do you mean about the games that you like? What games do you like? What are you talking about there?
Oh man, I like games. I like trying new games. Really, that's kind of the big thing that I'm into is just trying different ones. I don't know, for the people at home who can't see me,
Canasta?
I'm pointing at a cabinet back here. This cabinet behind me is completely filled with Magic cards. There is nothing in it besides Magic, the Gathering cards.
That's a lot of Magic cards.
It's a lot of Magic cards. But
that's a lot.
I mean,
it doesn't matter what size your closet is.
That's a lot of Magic cards. If you can just say I have a wardrobe / closet full of Magic cards, a lot of Magic cards.
But games in general, or
games in general, yeah. Like you mentioned, Canasta. I've played a lot of Canasta. I've played cribbage for a long time. I'm a big fan of Pinochle. I haven't played it in a long time, but
I haven't played any of those in a long time. But I definitely did play them growing up.
I've shied away from bridge because I had some really bad experiences at the old folks' home when I was a little kid, and they really showed me how to play bridge.
Mine was cribbage. I had those kind of experiences with cribbage.
I'm going to give you 14 points for soul destroying. Old people destroying your soul.
For bridge.
Yeah, for bridge, obviously.
Oh, definitely bridge. But yeah, I like all sorts. I play tabletop games. I like playing video games. Currently, the one that I'm into right now is called Deep Rock Galactic, which is basically a grinding game. You're a space dwarf, and you drill down onto a planet, and you collect the minerals, and it's really entertaining.
That game.
There's no real point to it. The whole point is to make your dwarf look
though.
really cool.
I forgot about that game. That's a good one.
I'll tell you, I was like, it just depends on what. I mean, if games are there to occupy your time and entertain you.
Yeah.
So no matter where it's, I mean, some people get competitive gaming, and that's a whole different deal. That's competitive sports, whatever. You go up into esports, that type of thing, or amateur, whatever. But they really are there to occupy your time, right? So if you're sitting there and you can decompress, it doesn't matter what game it is.
Yeah, true, bro.
I mean, realistically, think about the first Mass Effect. Do you remember mining those planets?
No.
Yeah,
I've never played through Mass Effect. So.
Most people skip that, and they're just like, because you could finish the game without upgrading your ship and doing all that stuff. Not this dude.
No, like, you did all that.
I'm gonna mine some planets.
This shit's happening.
Yeah, and it was just so I totally understand. It was just like there's certain things that just they. Oh yeah,
it's definitely a decompression. That's the key word there. Is the decompression.
It really was. It's like to me you need a reboot, right? Yeah. So how do you do that? People are like, oh, sleep. Well, your brain's still functioning while you're sleeping. Yeah. Give it something to do that lets you chill out.
Yeah.
So
design the most optimal factory in Factorio.
See?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes.
Love it.
That's so good. Okay. I'm very excited about that.
He's so distracted by Mass Effect. He's like, wow.
Well, just games in general. Games in general intrigue me. Because that going back to always be learning. I think that's what games do. They just they let you keep learning.
Always learn.
No matter what.
Remember, 16 brain, never 20. Sucker.
Never 20.
Never
Aspire
20.
to be a 19.
Yeah.
But never a 20.
Never 20, always 19. Yeah. There you go.
All right. So that's
big brain activity.
Yeah. Yes. There's another like in here, and I think we'll skip on to the dislikes. Maybe we'll come back to the likes, depending on what Rysa wants to do point system wise. But dislikes, help me out with a couple of these. Well, let me see if we can pick one specifically. You were pretty specific about kids doing Fortnite dances.
Oh, man.
Hold on. But unironically.
Yeah. No, if you're doing it ironically, like, that's fine. I want to see that. But if you just break out into a Fortnite dance because you're like, oh man, that was really rad.
Oh yeah, out of like you're doing that dance out of excitement for something else kind of thing. Sure. It doesn't make a lot.
It doesn't make any sense.
So you have some sort of know-how or internal resonance of knowing when somebody's doing something unironically?
Well,
is it sarcasm meter? I don't know.
No, I was just trying to go.
So
what if that kid, that's the only dance that they know?
It's quite possible.
Is it still unironic, and is it still something you would dislike?
I think I'm glad that they're interested in dancing, but
and video games.
And if that's their leaping point into learning more dances, great. But there's not really any way I'm going to know that.
Right.
I'm going to judge them regardless.
I think that's what we are as humans. Yeah. No, it is okay. I mean,
they're welcome to do the dance. I'm just going to look at them and go, okay.
It's like, why you doing that dance? Nothing happened, and you're just like, oh god.
So I have 5 children. Okay. And I have 3 of them that are in that era of.
Did they ever did they do those dances?
I have a 12-year-old son.
Oh, okay, yeah, he did.
So
Yeah.
yes. And he's 13 this month. And then a 15-year-old daughter. Yes. Also, he does them unironically, and it is annoying. My 15-year-old daughter, she does them ironically.
Yeah.
To kind of trigger him.
Yeah.
And it just turns into a thing.
Then she just points and laughs at him. So I
that sounds exactly like her, and I love it.
It's just so I see that dynamic, and I understand exactly where you're coming from. What I have learned personally, just on my own personal journey, not for anybody else. Everybody does judge. You're going to judge other people. That's kind of a cognitive.
It's norm.
What sets us apart cognitively from other beings, other animals. I mean, it really does.
Yeah.
And I think it's healthy to recognize that we do that. That's something that really kind of woke me up when I was in high school. Is like all these people around me that are going, I don't judge so and so. I'm not going to judge anyone. No, you're judging everyone around you constantly. That's the human experience. It's just being able to recognize that you are doing that.
Yeah, and
that's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you're telling they need to change it or do anything differently. That's different. I think that's a whole different conversation. But when as my journey goes with different people and what they enjoy to do and what they don't enjoy to do, I think that's why we ask some of these questions, is there's no way for me to point at you, Silas, or point at you, Rysa, and say, your fun is wrong.
Right.
No.
I can't. You should never be able to do that.
No.
You can judge their fun because it's like, that is silly. It's kind of like telling somebody that something tastes bad.
Right.
You can't say something tastes bad. It tastes bad to me.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like don't yuck my yum.
Yes. Your fun is wrong.
Like, yeah.
I want to show this. Your
also,
fun is wrong.
real quick, this is creepy when I just go like this. It's like,
she is putting a Woody face right in our face.
Yeah, it kind of. He looks like he's.
You get these guys up on the.
Yeah.
On the screen.
Got plenty of things going on here. We got representation.
So much.
I used to have a T-shirt with Frank Zappa right about chest level, and I would wear my sweatshirt so you could only see his face right here. And it really freaked people out because
I remember that shirt. That shit was creepy.
It's like, hold on.
Yeah.
Stop looking at my chest.
Stop looking at Zappa.
Frank.
Oh my gosh. No, Frank, stop.
Go
Frank.
back in there.
Yeah.
Zip.
Yeah. He's going to his quiet place.
No, I really, but that when you put that as a dislike, I really wanted not you to elaborate on it, but I felt like that as a discussion of those.
Yeah.
There's some words you were very specific, and I was like, huh.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to discuss.
But but it's like the unironic and then the ironic things. It's just,
I mean, it's like same thing goes with dabbing. Like,
I do that very unironically. Just like, why not?
You reach a point in the life cycle of the joke that it's become ironic, that it's unironic, that it's ironic now. And, if somebody lands a dab at the right time and you're just like, oh man,
it gets
okay, that's great.
Yeah. And everyone's just like, damn, they dabbed and it was good.
But it's cyclical, though. It's like everybody, there's something like that happens, not every generation, but even multiple times within a generation.
Yeah.
Because you had the dunk for a while on people. Yeah, that one was good too. And there's all this. I think they're good.
Were you a dunker?
No, I wasn't. I was a faller.
No.
So I'd hold the hoop. No.
I was the hooper.
I was a hooper.
Oh my gosh. While we're here real quick, why do you dislike sauteed mushrooms so much? I have to know.
Well, it really has to do with the gag reflex.
That's a weird answer. Please.
Are you cutting up your mushroom?
Yeah, hold on.
No, I'm not eating mushrooms. That's the thing.
I'm like, how big is this mushroom?
Yeah.
It really stems from the heat releasing the smell into the room. it makes me nauseous.
Okay.
It's pretty
Sauteed,
straightforward.
sauteed mushroom smell makes you nauseous.
Yeah, I have to leave the room.
See,
That's
I mean,
really weird.
well,
I would dislike that too. No.
And I've recently tried.
probably,
Yeah, like I can't eat mushrooms at all. I've recently tried again. Like I had a pizza that had mushrooms on them, and I went, nope, that's going away.
Crazy.
Yeah.
no, I'm one of those people who's like, if I know that I don't like something, I was just like, I just don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But I respect people that can revisit. Because I don't, and I don't know why I don't revisit. It's not many things.
It's hard.
I don't do it, but my wife does it. She revisits things. She revisits like she doesn't like cornbread.
Well, okay, wait a second.
No, well, I don't like cornbread either because most of the time it's grainy. It's a texture issue.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah,
but I've had good cornbread.
I love cornbread.
Yeah.
But she'll revisit it. Like she'll still make it, and every once in a while she'll revisit and go, maybe my palate has changed.
Yeah, I know.
She's like, nope.
Because if it's a texture thing, you could always definitely find another recipe that avoids that texture.
Yeah, I mean, like flavor, corn. You know? Just avoid corn. Yeah,
just avoid corn.
It's just one of those things. No, she just there's certain things.
Yeah.
That, and I don't know. To me, it's I don't revisit those things, and I appreciate people that do.
Yeah, I think I think it's your palate changes.
Yeah,
every
totally.
9 years. It was like 2 years ago. If you asked me 4 years ago to drink an IPA, I'd be like, fuck no, that shit tastes like garbage.
Like feet. That's what my wife would say. Sarah used to say it tastes like feet.
Yeah, it would kick me in the back of the throat and it would taste fucking disgusting. But now, like 2 years ago,
it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, it's fucking disgusting. What are you? But I just randomly took a sip of one and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Wait, like I can do, and now I drink everything. I don't even really give a fuck. Like, sure, beer is beer, but it's your palate changes. But
I'll definitely change it.
I still fucking hate celery, so whatever.
Well, I think some of the things like mushrooms, I feel like I'm always going to not like. It's really a guttural thing that happens. I'm sure the same thing is with you and celery. Certain things. Yeah. I actually read a really interesting thing about Brussels sprouts not that long ago. And I love Brussels sprouts. I know
me some Brussels, but they smell like shit, bro.
Oh man, they've historically had a really bad reputation. Like you read all the old Calvin and Hobbes or like old stories and stuff. People would be talking about how bad Brussels sprouts were. And I read a thing that apparently within the last 10, 15 years, the genetic code of most Brussels sprouts sold in the U.S. has switched enough that they don't have quite the bitter flavor that they used to.
Interesting. That's really interesting, actually.
They're sweeter and more tasty to more people. And so there's this big Brussels sprout boom.
That's crazy. But it's crazy as in like, whoa, that's cool. Not crazy as in like, that doesn't make sense. Because, I mean, we look at those things constantly because my wife, she does a lot of cooking, a lot of experimenting with cooking, and she likes she's born and raised in Madera, California, which very high Mexican population and a lot of Mexican food, so everything has cilantro in it. So I love cilantro, but what we found out, like we were going through it, is like some people are like, I really can't eat cilantro. It tastes like soap.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, well, that's to me, that's weird.
Yeah,
it's
that's
delicious.
great. Yeah, it's great. It's like some people who drink,
but it's an
beer
actual thing.
Yeah, I think it tastes like soap most of the time.
Different like chemical makeup in certain people, it can give off the same taste as soap.
Yeah.
So is that your favorite soap?
Oh yeah, cilantro. Obviously, I love cilantro. Yeah, it's so good. It's my favorite soap.
I've got a couple leaves on my shoulders right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I just
it's interesting to hear those things.
It's like people who don't drink not Dr. Pepper, root beer because they think it tastes like toothpaste.
Whoa, that's a new one.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
But if it's real root beer, then maybe it does. Because I mean it's still a starch.
But it's totally a thing where people think it tastes like toothpaste, and it's so bizarre to me. I'm like, I like root beer floats. It's crazy.
Yeah, same. So like,
all right, who knew that sautéed mushrooms would be such an interesting conversation?
Would be a trigger.
Fuck yeah. All right, so with the sauteed mushrooms, we're gonna say you beat round 2. Right on.
Wow. Round 2
Can't-
is over.
Yeah, we get nauseous from mushrooms, but here we go.
Not gonna happen.
All right. So now you're entering into boss battle territory.
You have to beat the boss.
Yeah.
As
jeez.
the
Yeah.
boss says.
Boss says
Boss
with a
eye?
Z? Boss eye. Bonsai. Yes.
Oh God, do you remember that show from? It was horribly orchestrated. I think it was on Fox, and it was like a betting show.
Yes.
Oh my goodness,
It was like
it was
do
rather
remember.
insensitive.
No,
but-
that's
All right.
another thing that I've phased out of my memory banks.
Yeah. So, one of the new fun things that we were starting to do with Off the Dice is the boss battle questions. I try to personalize a little bit, kind of.
And if nobody's,
We'll see.
if anybody's listening for the first time, go back and listen to a lot of these
Yeah.
because as they've changed, season 2,
Look what I can do.
as we're season 2, look what I can do.
Yeah.
No trademark needed.
Yeah. Haha.
These questions are more personalized thanks to Rysa. Rysa is puts 99% of these
Yeah.
things together. This whole all these questions.
Any
So,
of the weird fucking questions that you see, you're welcome. All right, ready?
you have to answer these, and we have to believe you.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
If
Well,
you- if
here's
you-
the thing. I can believe Rysa is a boss battle because she's a boss person. So
Mhm. Fact.
Sucker! Okay, right. All right. So here we go. Boss battle number 1. Ready. What sport would be the funniest to add a mandatory amount of alcohol to, and why?
the funniest. Oh God, I can definitely. My mind immediately goes to tragic, but
Oh,
Well, I mean, Carnage.
yeah.
How funny is Carnage? I think that's where you,
Carnage.
you're like,
Specifically sports, not necessarily game.
Yeah.
Right.
A mandatory amount of alcohol. A lot of the sports in history started off as like alcohol leagues.
Like everything starts with alcohol.
I
Let's be
know.
honest here,
It's kind of
man.
funny. But I could
So that-
definitely see. I could definitely
which
see like lacrosse being really great with alcohol.
Just be absolutely smashed while playing lacrosse. Lacrosse is a fucking intense ass sport,
Intense
man.
game.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like that's where you go. When does it become like not so funny?
Yeah, I mean
Because
that's
everybody's
basically
getting
grass
hurt.
hockey in a way.
Yeah, everybody's getting hurt
Wait,
though now.
wait. Lacrosse plus alcohol becomes grass hockey.
Yeah,
That's the new name for alcohol
Well, grass
lacrosse.
hockey. I mean, field
Gra-
hockey is a thing.
Yeah, but it's cooler if you say grass hockey. Let's
Grass hockey,
because it sounds stupid.
air
as
grass
shit.
hockey.
I'm playing grass hockey.
well, actually, I think ultimately though the best sport that would probably be most funny with a minimum amount of alcohol included would be curling. You have
Yes.
to have
That would
dexterity,
be so good.
and you're on ice, and you're not playing hockey.
Yeah.
I'm very much agreeing with this because realistically, I think it already is a little mandatory.
Yeah, like who I want to know sometimes
Let's be
in
real.
the Olympics, there's sports that are in the Olympics that I go,
What?
oh, yeah, like, oh, someone years down the road, like prior, they were just like, you know what I'm gonna do?
That's
This
every sport.
Yeah, but
Don't,
like,
if you want to analyze any
yeah,
sport,
but like,
you could do that to it.
not dogging on curling, but it literally looks like you're just pushing some stuff and then you're cleaning ice. That's
It's
what
pretty
it looks like.
intricate.
Yeah.
It's pretty intricate in comparison to high jump.
Hi.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
high jump, what do?
You-
Jump
You
high.
jump really high.
Like realistically,
Yeah.
I mean, so you got to think about it as like
There's
what qualifies something as a sport. Curling at least has
at least you're
something to it. You can't slide it too hard.
yeah.
Can't slide it too soft. You get more people involved. Like clear clear out the runway. I was like,
It's like,
don't you think they cleaned the ice before you pushed it? Why are you cleaning it now?
we're cleaning it again. But if you add like 5
Oh my
shots
God.
to each person prior,
Yes,
that
Yeah.
would just be
that'd be
like.
amazing.
I feel like they
100%
would.
improvement.
Yeah.
I've played shuffleboard while drunk, and that was amazing. But you add ice and a bigger field and more people.
I feel like they just wouldn't play, and they would just be like, "Do you want to just go get Taco Bell or something?"
I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Okay, so well convinced. You're
Yeah,
very,
that's pretty
very, very
great.
convincing.
I like that.
All right, we're gonna go to the next question because
Yeah.
we gotta keep going here because the boss is attacking
Boston,
you.
Yeah.
The boss
Okay.
is up.
If you were transported 400 years into the past with no clothes or anything else, how would you prove that you were from the future?
That weird
400
sunset.
years ago. Geez,
The
I'm.
smell of basil soap.
Yeah, obviously.
Have you?
I got the mint
Dr.
tingles.
Bronner's. It's.
You should smell my skin.
Yeah. Peppermint tingle.
Yeah,
That's all I could think of. It's like
I
my
got
butthole is tingling.
my.
You definitely from the future.
My butthole is tingling.
I'm definitely from the
You
future.
just like check my butthole, and they're just like, "We ain't from here."
They're gonna probe you anyways.
Yeah.
They might.
Might as well
Geez.
get to it.
Well, let's see. 400 years ago. That would be 1600s. Man.
Hope they
What-
don't think you're a witch.
Yeah, that's the real risk you run there. Is in that era you're bound for prosecution if you're too advanced. I mean, I'd probably say I'd probably have to. The thing is, I don't remember much of the history of the 1600s. I was going to say probably telling them events that were about to happen in the near future and having them unfold exactly as that was happening.
Just make like a ballpark guess. Like some
yeah.
guy walks past you and go, and they announce his name, and you're like, "Oh shit! Wait a minute, guys. Guess what's about to happen?"
Yeah.
Oh my
Now,
god.
am I moving locations while I'm being transported, or am I just like smacked in the
transported 400 years back? That's it.
I probably am first going to have to stand up because I'm on a 2nd story floor here, and if I just get transported back
That'd be
400
great.
years, I'm going to fall 20 feet.
Unless you're on a mountain.
Sacramento's pretty flat.
Yeah, Sacramento's flat as fuck.
Yeah.
All right. So you just try to say stuff that was going to happen.
Well, yeah, but also like 400 years ago in Sacramento, I don't know if there was anybody here besides
So you would talk to like an ox.
native people. So I don't know if any Native American people would have ever seen a white person.
Oh, you'd be dead as hell.
At least on this coast at
You
that
don't know
time.
that.
That's true. You don't know that.
I don't know that, but that's
I feel like you would just show up and you'd just be all smiley, like, "Hello,
Hi.
yeah,
Yeah.
hi guys," and they would just be like, "Ooh, ooh,
who dis.
ooh, new player, who this?" Oh my god. Okay, so you would
Just be friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
be
hi.
friendly.
Like I was like, what would you do? Could you reach out to shake somebody's hand? I don't know.
Yeah.
Would you bow? Would you? I think
Yeah,
that's
what would be offensive and what would be like appropriate?
yeah. You wouldn't
Yeah.
know.
Extra.
I'd be just standing there naked, being like, "Well, I guess I'm here now."
You'd probably be saying hi and be like, "I'm naked."
Inspect my butthole for
We know.
basil soap.
But that might be
So
a piece,
quickly.
Inspect my butthole for basil.
for all the knowledge we have. That could be a peaceful greeting.
That's good. Check
We
out
don't know.
my butthole.
We don't know.
I mean, I've
God's
definitely
got
seen
it from
Bill and Ted's
somewhere.
Excellent Adventure, so
Oh.
hopefully it would go something along those lines and say, "Hey, I got
Honestly,
a history report that I gotta, pull you into the future for."
and the people like, "Oh hell yeah, man, this sounds
They're
great."
like, yeah, I could do that.
yeah. So, yeah.
Everybody speaks English for some reason.
Or what? All right. Okay. Last boss battle fight. Are you ready?
As I'll ever be.
Thanks. Okay. If you could morph 2 real animals to make 1 super animal, what 2 animals would you choose?
Definitely a platypus.
But there are like already 5 animals. I
So
still
like that's cheating.
Yeah, but see,
That's true.
it's already it's in existence. I've got it in my repertoire. I love me some platypus action. The
That's like
females
having
have
a
Swiss
poisonous
Army
back
knife.
Yeah.
legs. I might as well use this to my advantage.
Hell yeah. Okay. All right. Platypus.
That's good.
Fun fact about platypus: the plural is platypuses because it was a late discovery, so Latin wasn't really a thing at that time. So platypuses.
No. If Latin wasn't there, it's a platypussy. All right. Great. All right.
Plural.
Yeah.
Plural. Sorry about that.
I gotta go with something either really large or flying. Maybe something large and flying. Let's go with the condor because why not? It's large and flying.
That sounds like a nightmare fuel animal.
Yeah, I'm into it. It's. I mean, think of like a manticore, but
Yeah.
like it's a platypus with wings.
But a condor is like that's a predator,
Yeah.
and a platypus is pretty docile.
So it'd be a predator
They kinda
platypus
cancel
with
each other out.
wings.
Yeah, it would be kind of this very confusing.
Yeah.
Like-
Or would they just be like, no, I just want a salad.
Do I kill you or do I want you to pet me?
Yeah.
Like what do I want? Oh my god, that's an amazing creature.
Actually would
A
be
condor,
It'd be pretty fun.
condor pussy.
Ooh.
What?
A clondipus?
Clondipus.
It's a
Clondipus.
it's a
I
Klondike
feel
bar.
like I
That's where that came from.
your animal is just a
We
Klondike
know.
bar. I want a more Klondike bar
Yeah.
What would you do?
for a Klondike bar. Well, things.
I'm
It
a
involves
platypus.
milk patches, duck bills, and beaver tails. Don't worry about it. It can fly.
It's fine. We have peppermint. It'll
Yeah,
be fine.
Or peppermint with my basil asshole. We're great. We're doing awesome. All right.
We are now.
All right.
Basil.
We'll get 4 points for basil asshole.
4 points.
Please for basil.
How do we go from
Well,
platypus and condors
You can
to
quote me on that. There you go.
plus 4 points?
Yeehaw,
Sir?
man.
Sir Silas,
You know what?
you have
Yeah,
you just beat the boss, yo.
you did it. That-
So we have no idea what you get for beating the boss. But the one thing that you do get to do, and with limited time, you only have a few minutes to do it. But now you get to actually tell us about you.
yeah.
We've been talking about ourselves and asking you random questions, but
Finding out about your weird soap preferences, but
yeah, like what have you been up to? What are you up to? What are you excited about lately? And what would you like to shamelessly plug? if
Oh,
anything?
I haven't really been up to too much lately. I've been trying
Sheltered
to
in place.
shelter in place. I've been playing some Dungeons and Dragons. I recently started my own campaign, which is
that's exciting.
short-lived. I've done one session, which is
Sweet.
really dipping my toe in the water, I suppose. But I really have been enjoying biking around because I don't have to interact with other people next to me. They're far enough in the behind me.
They're far enough in the behind me.
In the behind me, yeah. In my
I love it.
basil butthole.
That's a thing now.
It
Yeah.
is basil butthole,
Trademark
I know.
pending.
Yeah.
I've recently fixed up my dad's old bicycle, which was a lot of fun. I don't have a lot of experience working on bikes, but I really enjoy the mechanical aspect of it. And
Right on.
I've got this really dope 1977 bike that just needed to be cleaned, so I did that.
Dude, that is super
That's
rad.
actually super. Yeah, that's super sick. What kind of
It's
bike is it?
It's a Schwinn Latour
Oh
2.
hell yeah! I
think
thought
that's
it was
like-
Schwinn, bro.
In those years, it's like if you didn't have a Schwinn,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Who the Schwinn are you?
Did they
Well,
make anything
apparently they
besides a
had-
Schwinn?
They had a big monopoly on a lot of the bike shops for a long
Yeah.
time. But yeah, it's this huge. My dad was 6'6", and so this
Holy
is a
shit.
20,
Really?
yeah, 25-inch frame.
Wow.
That's bright orange, and
Yes.
this thing just hauls. it hauls ass so good. My dad's brother, my uncle. That's how uncles work. Weird. It's their brother.
Yeah, that's
Of
by
course.
definition. That's
Yeah.
what that is. But yeah,
He was really into bikes at the time and built custom wheel sets for this bike. And
Oh, dude, sick.
boy, howdy, are they fast. So I've been enjoying that. But other than that, I don't really have
Holy
anything to plug.
cow. No, that's a huge deal.
No,
To me, that's a huge deal.
Yeah, I think that's fucking awesome, dude. Like, that's really exciting.
Yeah, go
No,
out and
'cause
ride your bike.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I know. I mean, I have a few friends that are really into biking. I'm not, like, by any means, but the passion for it is like, holy cow! I didn't know there was that much
Yeah.
into like all the moving parts. I was like, oh, it's two wheels, and no,
There's
there's
lot.
so much more. So
Oh, yeah.
that is so rad that you got like a classic though, not just
Oh.
like something you
Well,
spent like
I'm-
$5,000 on and hopped on and went.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm super lucky though, because even though I didn't ride it for a long time, it was still kept in relatively good shape when I got it from my dad, and
Yeah.
I was really lucky that it just needed to be cleaned. But that meant that I got to take apart everything, like all the way down to the crankset, and really know all of the pieces that go on this thing, and take a toothbrush to it with
Yeah,
degreasing.
like the detail
that.
things. That's amazing.
And it was such a process. I mean, I did it over Memorial Weekend, and it took all weekend of like waking up, starting on it, ending at like 6.
That's
and-
the kind of project that you just kind of, it keeps
You lose
going.
time.
Yeah, you lose time, but it keeps you going because it means so much, and it's so, yeah, that's amazing.
Talk about like cathartic and
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
therapeutic and all those decompressing, all
Yeah.
those things happen through
It all happens
finding
at
that interest.
yeah, all at
Just
one
lose
time.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad.
That's mind, body, and soul right there.
Yes.
man.
And that's what
Now-
we all need right now.
Not
Love
only
it.
that's
if I can
awesome.
not fall off of it with my 8 dexterity.
Yeah.
You might get
Very
on a
dexterity.
bike though. You probably have a modifier of 3
You never know.
now that you
Awesome.
have like a classic Schwinn.
Yeah.
That classic
So that's
twin,
awesome.
though.
So D&D did your first game master, dungeon master session, correct?
amazing.
So
Yeah.
that's an amazing feat, all in its own.
Because that's
Um,
so many people don't play D&D because they can't find a dungeon master because nobody
is-
wants to do it.
It's
Well,
hard.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to do it,
Oh.
but are scared to do it.
Yeah.
It's realistic. They don't want to put themselves out there because you really have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
You really do.
So that's a huge one right there. That's a huge step. But this, really intriguing about your
The bike, yeah.
bike and all that stuff. To me, that's like, that is so classic. And so we all have that in our life.
Yeah.
It's just different for everyone.
Mhm.
So,
That's awesome. Dude, well,
dude,
right,
it was
yeah.
awesome meeting you, man.
Yeah.
This is- I mean, Rysa knows you, but I don't know you. It was the first time I met you. I saw your name pop up, and I was like, "Oh, all right. Well, Rysa, you're gonna have to talk to this one because I don't know who this is." But this is awesome. If anybody wants to like check out what you're up to or dungeon master or anything like that, do you have like Twitter or anything that you or
Not Twitter.
Instagram?
Not Twitter.
Or,
Yeah.
Well,
Team not
we did talk
Twitter.
about that.
Sorry.
team,
Yeah.
not Twitter. Yeah.
I'm not Twitter.
I tend to keep a pretty low profile,
Cool.
but you can definitely find me once the breweries around here are really fully opened up. You can definitely find me around at the local Sacramento breweries. That's probably the easiest way to see me.
That's awesome because I probably have seen you. I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, we've probably passed each other
And
because
that's-
I go to a lot of them.
And
Yeah.
that's how crazy life is that you probably have met a lot of people, but you just
Yeah.
haven't.
So
I
check out
tend
your
to
local breweries if you
check
want.
out your local breweries. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
tall. I'm
Park.
6'2" and a goofy boy.
I'm a 6 tall goofy boy. Look for me at your brewery.
Before he
Hey.
was married, that was his Match.com.
Yeah,
Uh,
6'2"
and a
goofy
goofy
boy.
Pleasure, man. It was really amazing meeting you and going through these with you. You have beaten the boss battle.
You did it.
Um,
You did the whole thing.
You are always welcome back to come chat with us, hang out with us, play games with us, and all the things we do. But yeah, thank you so much, man. It's a pleasure. It's a
Yeah,
pleasure.
thanks for having me. It
Have
was,
you part
it was
of
a
the
blast.
community.
Yes. All right.
This is
Well,
awesome.
thanks for tuning in with us about talking about basil soap and the peppermint tingles.
Yes,
Yikes.
I agree with all of this.
Yeah, I agree with basil
I
peppermint.
really do. I was like,
tingles.
I am team peppermint.
Your team tingle.
Not a fan.
Yes,
Team tingle.
it's hot on your tail.
Yikes. Okay, and with that note, check back next time when we talk off the dice.
We will talk off the ice again. All right. See ya.
Hello, I am Patrick.
I'm Andrew. And I'm Christian.
And I'm Allie.
And we are Rad Theater, a podcast where a bunch of friends play role-playing games and share a single brain cell, and the GM doesn't always have it. Oh, and it's theater spelled the correct way, Theatre.